Good day, and welcome back to the British Royal Family channel. You might think the only drama in this country involves tiaras and succession, but let me tell you, the real spectacle is happening right now in Westminster, and it's a political bloodbath so thrilling it would make Queen Elizabeth I clutch her pearls. We are talking about the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, currently trying to wriggle her way out of a scandal so sticky it's like she's been caught red-handed in a jam factory. The headline is simple. She's insisted she was not behind the budget leak that caused absolute havoc in November during a brutal grilling by the Commons Treasury Committee. Of course, she said the leak was unacceptable, which is the polite political equivalent of saying a house fire is a bit warm. But let's be honest, the air is thick with the scent of a political sacrifice, and she is currently walking a tightrope over a very deep chasm of public and political fury. Because this entire budget saga has been a masterclass in chaotic misdirection, with rumours and market speculation running absolutely rife in the days leading up to the announcement. Now the main event is mere hours away. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch is set to take on Sir Keir Starmer during Prime Minister's questions, and you can bet your last pound coin that she won't be asking about his weekend plans. No, the Tories are bringing a full-scale motion to Parliament today, demanding that Ms Reeves apologise for misleading the country about the state of the public finances in the crucial run-up to the budget. This is not a request. This is an ambush, an official political motion suggesting that the Chancellor deliberately painted a gloomier picture than reality allowed to soften the blow for the tax hikes she was planning, which is high political treason in the eyes of the opposition. They are accusing her of market manipulation and undermining the independence of the Office for Budget Responsibility, whose own chair was subsequently forced to resign after their report was released early in a spectacular blunder that only added to the sense of total shambles. 1. The Conservative attack lines are razor sharp. She made commitments not to increase taxes, only to perform a humiliating U-turn, raising levies on savings and property while extending the tax threshold freeze, making the public poorer and giving businesses the distinct impression that they are being governed by people who view the economy as nothing more than a giant personal piggy bank to smash open. 2. The fact that the Scottish National Party and others are also demanding her resignation only pours more fuel onto the blazing bonfire of her credibility. But wait. The political fun doesn't stop there. This PMQ session is shaping up to be a triple threat, as the opposition has two other massive juicy targets to aim for. Firstly, there are the utterly baffling comments from Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy, who, despite the government's official red lines on Brexit, has been openly suggesting that the UK should be seriously considering rejoining a customs union with the EU, citing the economic damage done by the current arrangements. This immediately sends Sir Keir Starmer scrambling, forced to defend a divided cabinet where his own second-in-command is essentially undermining his foundational policy on Europe. Lammy's comments, however inadvertent, have been seized upon, leading to a tied vote in the Commons on a motion to push for a new customs union, a move that saw a dozen Labour backbenchers openly rebel, showing the deep ideological split that exists right at the heart of the government on the one issue that Britain simply cannot move past. 4. The political message is clear. Labour is utterly confused on the biggest trade issue facing the country, and that is a gift to the opposition. And finally, if the market manipulation and the Brexit betrayal weren't enough, we have the National Audit Office report, the government spending watchdog, which has just dropped a hammer blow, finding that the UK's inability to promptly deport failed asylum seekers is fueling an extortionate bill for taxpayers, a staggering £4.9 billion in fact for the 2024-25 year alone, largely driven by long delays, backlogs, and the inability to remove people whose claims have been rejected. 5. The NAO report essentially calls out the entire asylum system as an inefficient, costly mess of short-term reactive measures that simply shifts problems around, resulting in more than half of claims lodged years ago remaining unresolved. 6. This is a direct, stinging indictment of the government's competence on border control and public spending, hitting both the Home Secretary and the Prime Minister square in the jaw. So what we have on the parliamentary floor today is a magnificent political pile-up, a Chancellor facing a formal motion of no confidence for misleading the nation on the finances, a Deputy Prime Minister openly suggesting a massive U-turn on Brexit, and a public spending watchdog confirming that the asylum system is bleeding the taxpayer dry due to government failure. 7. Rachel Reeves, in particular, is in a politically precarious position. The Conservative motion is designed to force her hand, and the internal pressure over her disastrous policy terms, the tax hikes that have alienated voters, the economic flatline, the Chagos sellout, combined with this relentless integrity challenge, has made her the obvious political scapegoat. If she survives PMQs, she still has to face the Treasury Committee with these new allegations swirling, and if the Prime Minister is seen to be protecting her at all costs, he simply inherits her political weakness, leaving the Conservatives in the delicious position of watching the government devour itself. The only question now is whether she'll jump or whether she'll be pushed. But either way, the disastrous policy terms and the continuous political gaffes have ensured that the petition for her removal has more than enough signatures. Thank you so much for watching.